Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Meet Cute. It's the podcast where we talk about all things romantic comedy, but mostly the bad ones. I am Edward.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Zach.
All right. So, welcome to the show, everyone. We have no guests. That is okay. We're going to do a hat take for you folks today.
I didn't know the stove was on.
Oh, ow, my hand.
Ooh, cookies are done.
Great.
That's the drop for this week.
That's the drop. We did it. Haley or Zach, you want to tell us what film we're taking hot?
We are watching 1999's Never Been Kissed, starring Drew Barrymore, David Arquette, and Molly Shannon, and John C. Reilly.
America's Boyfriend, John C. Reilly.
So
What a
fun. This is one that has come up a few times. A few guests have told us we should watch this one. I have seen it before, and I remember liking it, but I was young and wasn't so savvy to the real world.
You were naive.
I was naive.
And that's okay.
No, I'm not saying this is bad,
You
because I
were
might
never been
still
kissed.
enjoy it. I might still enjoy it, but what I'm saying is it didn't register as super weird and creepy that an adult woman was going back to high school.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay, well, we know that's going to happen before we watch. Unless you guys don't know that, but guests have talked to us about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that that's the general plot, and like, I like to think that she's not going to have a romance with a student.
Right. But it was 1999 where like weird things like that almost were
like
things.
Maybe that's like the really problematic thing that has not aged well.
Right.
That happened in this movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it, and I hope that's not the case. But I have a gut feeling like some lines will be crossed in some way.
They're gonna kiss at least or something, and he'll be like, "Wait a minute, your boobs are older than other people's boobs."
Yeah, he's got sort of an X-Men thing.
Yeah,
His power is lame, so he doesn't get to go to that school. He doesn't get to go to the Mutant Academy. He goes to the regular high school.
Classic.
Yeah, we've all seen the movie.
Yeah.
So, does anyone else have any predictions for what they think this movie? Well, Haley, you don't really.
I've seen it.
You've
I'm
seen
not
it,
going to
but
tell
Edward,
you.
do you have any predictions for what you think this movie will be?
Well, I was telling Zach earlier how the only thing I really knew about this movie I learned from Not Another Teen Movie, and so no, that's all. That's I guess it's gonna play out exactly like that. That old woman is going to high school and is gonna have a lesbian experience with some actress.
With the popular guys.
The popular guys.
As someone who's
Insane
seen
Sister,
it,
yes.
As someone who's seen it, I will tell you that's exactly what happens.
Oh,
Great.
Now you're spoiling it left and right, Haley.
Boy.
Oh man. So I think that we have food delivered. Well, they have food. I made fish and
Ew.
sweet potatoes and parsnips.
You're disgusting.
For dinner tonight.
It's nice that you can do that in our studio.
We ordered cheeseburgers and fries, and you're a monster.
Yeah.
Let's watch the first half hour of Never Been Kissed. We'll be right back.
And just for our listeners, it's never been kissed. It's not Never Been Kissed. It's not a film about all the people that Ben has never kissed.
The episode's in the title.
I don't want there to be any
No.
controversy.
The episode title's in the description
Listen
of
to me.
this podcast.
We're
They
gonna get
know.
letters.
This is stupid. Let's go watch this movie. Do we remember our button? I mean, should I drop that button?
Oh, I didn't know the stove was still on.
Oh, my hand!
Ooh, my cookies are done.
Great, it's a hot take.
I didn't know the stove was on.
Oh, my hand. Ooh, my cookies are done.
We watched the first 30 minutes of Never Been Kissed.
She still hasn't.
Yeah, they're really
Drawing that out.
Yeah, they're really pulling us along by the collar with this whole kiss action. Haley, give us a little breakdown of what's happened so far.
Sure thing. So we've got Josie Geller, played by Drew Barrymore. She's a 25-year-old. I'm seeing in Wikipedia. It didn't really tell us the age, did
okay.
it?
I would have said 27 based off
Yeah.
nothing, though.
Yeah.
Well, like her job. That's what I would have
Yeah,
based it
she's
on.
Which
but I
she's a copy editor for the Chicago Sun-Times. She's never had a real relationship. Ooh. What happens? She's wants to be a real reporter.
Right.
But John C. Reilly is like, I'm your boss, and I say you'd be terrible at that.
Yeah, he's just like, no, you're one of the best copy editors I know, but journalists, they go where the bombs go.
Yeah.
Right,
And
yeah.
she's like, I could go where the bombs go.
I love bombs. I could go.
And he's like, you can't do that. You need everything perfectly in order. I'm going to tell you exactly who you are as a
Yeah.
character.
He framed the shit out of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of like,
You can't have anything out of order. You like neat and precise.
Is
Yeah.
our lines that he said. Yes.
Yeah.
he just finished like UCB 301 and is just like nailing
Let me tell
it.
you the game of the scene and who you are
Yeah.
exactly. I will gift this to you.
And now I'm picking up my coffee mug in the office. Like, we can see it.
We know, yeah.
Molly Shannon is her best friend in the office, and she
we know
is
her
a
name?
big ole slut.
I'm gonna call her Slut McKinsey until we know what her
Let me
name
look
is.
so you don't do that.
Oh,
And that's
fine.
and that's the screenwriter's fault.
Her name's Anita.
Anita. Okay, all right.
We could just call
Okay.
her Molly Shannon.
No, no, no.
As
no,
we
no.
do. That's our brand. Yeah, Molly Shannon is her friend who's like sleeping with all the people in the office and wearing short skirts and talking about how everyone should
And
be
giving
sleeping.
a
Surprise.
pencil a blowjob. Anyway.
What?
Yeah.
I missed that.
She performed fellatio on a pencil.
It was subtle.
It was subtle.
Oh.
Yeah, there wasn't like a scene for it. There wasn't like a saxophone playing while she did it.
Like
but-
a cut to alone in her cubicle. No, it was like during a board meeting or something.
yeah.
Oh, there's also a surprise appearance from Octavia Spencer.
Yeah.
Yep.
A wild
fun.
Octavia Spencer appears.
So fun. I didn't know she was in this. She's just one of the office friends.
Yeah, she rules.
So,
I
who's
hope
her
she
brother?
comes
Her
back.
brother is played by
David
David
Arquette.
Arquette.
Oh, that was another thing I
Oh.
should have said when we talked about like what we thought it was going to be. I knew David Arquette was in this, and the still on HBO Go, where we're
Mhm.
watching it, it's not TV, it's HBO, was David Arquette and Drew Barrymore. So I thought he's the love interest.
Oh, like he was the teacher or
yeah,
student
or whatever it's going to be, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when she was like, Mom said I could borrow your car, I was like, oh, he's not the love interest.
No, he's her kind of loser, kind of towny brother, I guess, who he was.
How old is he?
I think he's supposed to be older.
Okay. I can't tell how old they're all supposed to be, 'cause it feels like Molly Shannon's supposed to be Drew Barrymore's age.
Oh, I
but
think
that's
Molly
clearly
Shannon's
not the
supposed
case.
to be older. I
Yeah,
think.
Okay.
I'll put you this way. I think that there's no way anyone would believe that they were the same
Right.
age, so I don't think that the filmmakers would be that, like,
Yeah.
Right.
wink at you,
Yeah, yeah.
if you will.
Right.
Now David Arquette's character, it's insinuated that he like dropped out of college.
They
or
say
not-
it, like,
They say, not insinuate. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he had mono or something, so
Right.
dropped
He
out and was
couldn't get
supposed to have a baseball career,
scholarship,
or
yeah.
something. So he's working at a post office that is also like a tiki hut.
If you think it has a pun name, it doesn't. It's called Tiki Post.
Also, that's like a federal government job, working at a post office.
Yeah, you can't get fired from that.
So they have a big staff meeting, and the boss. Can you double check and see if it's Gary Marshall who plays the boss? I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary Marshall, director of Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
He plays like the head of the paper, and he gives this dumbass speech where he's like, "I don't know what my grandkids are up to. I have an idea for a piece. Oh, my semester in high school. Hey, you, Drew Barrymore.
You look
start,
young."
You start Friday." And she's like, "Boing."
Yay, me!
Quick question about the boss. Do you think Gary Marshall uses a walking cane, or was he like, here's what my crazy character will do, wave a walking cane around?
Edward, he is an actor, and if you question an actor's process, you will never realize your own.
Excuse me, Gary, if you're still alive, you are not.
But I feel like he's still listening.
yes.
Aw. So she starts high school. She's enrolled to high school. She's supposed to be from Chicago. That's what her little card that she's reading
No,
says.
she's supposed to be from Scranton. She is in Chicago.
Oh, she's in
Yeah.
Chicago. She's supposed to be from Scranton. She has this whole like backup personality written for her. But she chokes first off in her fashion choices. Because boy oh
Am
boy,
I right?
she's wearing white pants, this white shirt with like this furry boa
Like an
on
80s
it.
music video sort
Oh,
of.
her hair is
outfit.
Her
terrible.
lips are arguably white.
Right.
Yeah, why? I'm so confused. And she had just like a chunk of concealer on her
Like,
chin.
if she were laying down with her eyes closed, you would think that she was like a
Dead.
CSI victim.
Yeah, she looked dead. Whoever, and I'm sure it gets better with a makeover that probably is going to happen, but the makeup artist should be fired. I think, because she
Maybe
was
they
looking-
were. Maybe that's why it was so
I
bad.
think the idea is that she was thinking like, oh, this is what the kids are doing, like this
Yeah.
Yeah,
strange makeup.
maybe. I
But
feel
she
like
looks
that
awful.
was bad done. I thought it was badly done too, because I wasn't sure if it was a choice,
Yeah, she looks like.
like a directorial choice, or if it was just bad makeup.
Okay, follow me on this.
Okay,
There's say there was an '80s song
sure.
called "Ghost at the Prom."
Yeah.
I don't know if there is.
No, there is. White Snake's Ghost at the Prom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
White
yeah.
Snake's Ghost at the Prom, and there's a music video for Ghost at the Prom. She's the titular Ghost at the Prom in
Yes.
the music video.
Yes.
That's if you're listening out there, if you've never seen the film, I think I just painted the perfect picture for you.
Anyway, let's go on. We've got to go. I gotta eat these burgers.
Yeah.
So there's some popular girls at school. She feels the pressure being introduced in front of the class.
Jessica Alba is one of
Yes,
them.
she
and
Kirsten.
is.
Who's the other? There's one.
I
The
don't
blonde
know.
one looks like somebody.
Just a ghost at the prom, doing nothing wrong. She's standing alone in the
Guys,
corner.
I'm gonna cut
Asking her to
this.
dance.
Guys, I'm gonna cut this.
You should.
Jordan Elizabeth Ladd.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
And-
We'll figure it out later.
So she accidentally introduces herself as a girl from Bali who's a sheep farmer because she panics. So everyone's already making fun of her. She's a dork. She's crushing on this popular guy who looks like an old crush from high school.
Right, Billy.
Which is already creepy, right?
Right.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like immediately. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
like.
yeah.
There's no because we know she's an adult and he's a child, so it's bad.
Right. Yeah, she tries to sit with the popular girls.
She spills chocolate milk on herself like a
Yeah.
dweeb.
Yeah, fucking
And then
nerd.
stutters so much in front of hot guy.
Yeah.
Which-
yeah.
which we're all like, yeah, maybe move on.
Yeah.
You're an adult.
The
and
one good
then
thing that happens is that there's cute little nerdy girl who's like, join the mathletes and be our friend.
And she fucking kills
oh
at
yeah.
those math competitions. Like they do a
Mhm.
little montage of it.
Yeah. How long has she been at this
know.
school
I
now?
don't know.
I
Like
feel like it's been 2 days, and most
She's-
of it has been math stuff.
Right.
she's already been in.
To a
competitions,
competition.
yeah.
Right.
And she's got an English teacher who we don't know his name yet.
Nope.
They're
Yes,
probably
we
s-
do.
Oh, it's like
Sam Colson.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because he's like, oh, you can call me Sam, but the school doesn't like it.
And he's teaching Shakespeare
And he's cool.
as you like it. Oh, he
And
plays hockey.
I'm
in
gonna
the
make a
classroom.
wild assumption. I think they end up together.
Oh, yeah. Because
Ooh.
he certainly at one point says, "Are you sure you're 17?"
Or she ends up with David Arquette. Maybe I don't know.
I think that might be it.
Anything
Yeah.
could happen in this movie.
Um,
And we just left off with a quick flashback to
Yes.
her reading a poem to the popular boy Billy when she was in
Mhm.
high school, and then her friend who looks exactly like Nikki Blonsky from
exactly. like it.
2007's Hairspray,
Mhm.
which is wild.
Uh-huh.
Coming in being like, Billy wants to take you to prom, and she's like, the poem. And we all know a Carrie situation is coming.
Oh, yeah.
Now, before we start watching again, we should also mention that John C. Reilly calls her and is like, your pitch for the story you're going to do at this high school? Ridiculous. You can't do a story on bad cafeteria food. So he's
Do it
like,
on like sex or drugs.
yeah, he's like, the only thing that's going to sell is like a sex scandal, so you better find something better.
What do you guys like about it so far? Real quick, like what's sticking out for you, and what do you dislike so far? We haven't gotten far.
Right.
I've laughed a few times.
That's my note too. I think it's funny so far.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what I've laughed
Me
at.
neither. Mostly Molly Shannon moves.
I laughed. Yeah, Molly Shannon's great so far. I think John C. Reilly's had a few good lines, and I think the line about the coleslaw was very funny when she's like, "Oh, I want to write about the coleslaw," and he's like, "Unless there's a bunch of kids who killed themselves after
Right.
having sex in the coleslaw, I don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's fucked, but funny." Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
so far.
I mean, Drew Barrymore is making some weird choices with her face in
Weird
this movie.
choice.
Oh
But-
my god.
Some really strange facial moves. But in general, I like Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I just find her charming and weird, and I like her. And she's in a lot of these kind of movies, so I think we'll get to more in the future for sure.
I also think the pacing's been good. Like we got to high school just the perfect amount of time.
Oh yeah, we
it
were
didn't
like,
feel too rushed,
yeah.
but
Right,
I
right.
wasn't like, all right, get on with the show. So kudos to them for
Then
knowing
again,
when to
I
start.
would like to know the timeline of like now that she's been in high school.
Yeah.
How long has she been
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find that out.
for the 20-year release, because it came out 20 years ago this year.
Yeah.
If you guys could just put out like a little ticker in the bottom
Yeah,
left-hand
down at the
corner
bottom corner.
that tells us where we are. That'd
Right,
be
right,
great.
right.
You listening? Maybe New Line Cinema. I don't know.
guess. Yeah, a new line.
Now the only thing I'm really wanting that makeover. I haven't seen this movie since I was a teenager, But there's surely a makeover coming, right? Because
Well,
she looks terrible.
If there is, it has to be by someone who's not the nice nerdy friend because she needs a makeover
no,
Right,
herself.
yeah.
I think it's gonna be like Molly Shannon trying to make her look cooler or something like
Or
that.
she befriends Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
I guess
somehow.
anything's possible.
She becomes
let's
a
find out,
plastic.
guys. We've
We'll
been
find out.
talking way too long, so let's go find out.
I didn't know the stove was still on.
Ah, ooh, my hand.
Ooh, my cookies are done.
We'll be right back.
I'll take.
I didn't know the stove was on.
Oh, my handy.
Oh no, my cookies are done. Ding.
Yep,
Guys, I
these.
hate.
No, these are.
What's bizarre about it is that it's pre-recorded, so we're just pressing play, but it
Yeah.
sounds like it's changing. A
Well,
little.
it's because we did it on a tape, and I think the
Right.
tape is wearing itself down.
yeah, it's getting.
Yeah,
a little-
yeah.
And it's drafty in here. So
It
that'll
is
do
right. Damp.
Okay, so where did we leave off?
She just had the prom flashback.
Right.
Right.
And she's not popular, but she's got the eyes of this teacher, it seems like.
Hey.
What's one of the things that happens? They go to that like reggae bar.
Yeah, that all the kids are like, we're going to see this band tonight, and I thought it was going to be like a pop punk.
Yeah,
band.
like
yeah,
a
and
rock
they're like, it's gonna be
band.
Rufus, man, like totally cool.
And it was like a cruise ship, like by the pool in the afternoon band.
It was a reggae band.
It was a reggae band,
And-
but like they didn't even have like steel drums. It
And,
was
like,
just like
Jessica
Yeah.
Alba and her two friends had a choreographed dance that they were doing for these like two boys sitting at a table, like,
Yeah.
staring at them like they were trying to hypnotize them
They
and
weren't.
giving up their ship. It was wild.
And the teacher is also there.
With his girlfriend from New York, who's like, I hope you get this out of your system because my firm has season tickets to the Met. And it's like, we get it.
Ooh, wow,
You
cool.
want to go look at art? He's not cool.
I think I mean the opera.
I hope they mean the opera.
Oh, the Metropolitan
Season tickets,
Opera.
because
okay.
that makes sense.
Because the Met
And
is
that's
free
fine.
if you're a New Yorker.
But also, like, you can like two things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, read some Whitman.
Yeah. If you're one of those guys out there who likes sports and opera, call us.
911. Oh, no, don't actually do it. That's like an emergency system. We don't want to clog up their phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
who is that? Like the like the cops
before
or
she
something?
goes out to the reggae night, one of her coworkers pulls over in a van and is like, yo, you're not doing well, so we're going to put a camera on you and surveil you.
Had we seen him before?
We had not.
We must have, like, real fast
I
in
guess.
the office.
Because they spoke of him like we've established who
Right.
he is. We know him.
But he was never like the camera. If we did see him in the office,
It was real
the camera
fast.
never paused on him.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, Timmy, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. His name is George, and he's like set up cameras like on her body to
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
document
just
it, like body
one
cams.
so they can watch. And John C. Reilly's like, I'm going to watch you and determine where your story is because, girl, you're not getting it at all.
Yeah. She like writes a little piece about the court, which is where all the teens hang out. And he's like, you need to be at the court. You can't just write about it saying that that's where people have a party. You have to be there getting the details, baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're living
Yeah, what do you want?
vicariously
Right.
through her right now.
Yeah, well, because someone else published a story about teens getting arrested there. And he's like, why aren't you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be arrested.
So he's
Yeah.
like,
You should be in jail right now.
if you have to kill someone to get a good story, that's on you.
So she accepts a pot brownie at the
Yeah.
reggae night.
Which was like, can I just tell you how good that looks, though?
No,
was a
it
big-
didn't.
It was like a
It was a-
muffin. It was good.
No, it looked like,
like
a big wet cake. It
Oh,
looked
like
like
really
no one
like-
Yeah, it
finished
looked like
cooking
moist.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
really,
it
really
looked like
good.
they didn't finish cooking it.
No,
Oh,
if
but
I
that's
had not
good.
eaten just now, I would have been hungry for that cake.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I thought that cake looked disgusting. And Drew Barrymore is so naive in this movie.
Yeah.
And like she
Well, she's
plays,
never been kissed.
and also she plays it like a high school theater student playing a nerd. Like that's how she plays this character, and she also plays it like a high school student playing like a middle schooler. You know what I mean? Just like this is what being young is. And
Because
it's
she's only
weird.
25, so she is young. That's
Yeah.
our
Right.
age.
Right.
And she also, like, I don't know, pot was around a few years
Right.
earlier, so it's not like she was completely oblivious to these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, what kind of life did she live where she's just now being exposed to people?
Yeah, but also you don't accept cake from a stranger, even if you don't think it's laced with drugs.
Joke's on you. I only accept cake from strangers.
Well, I thought in Hereditary that, spoiler alert, when Charlie has the cake, I thought it was going to have like pot in it or something.
Oh,
And
I
that was going to be
suppose,
something. But it had something else
It's
in
had
it.
something else.
Ah.
And
I don't remember
she
that
lost
scene.
her head in a different sort of way. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, it had
Oh, she had an
peanuts.
allergic
yeah,
reaction.
it had nuts in it. And, yeah.
Right.
Wait, Edward, take that line again. That rolled.
She lost her head in a different sort of way. Am I right, folks?
Well, you could
You
say
could
that.
say that. You could say that.
Never Been Kissed, 1999. Let's move on.
Anyway, Josie's really upset because she's still not cool. She showed up to school the next day with a big stamp on her head because she fell asleep from her fucking being high. And it was like the underage stamp, and it backwards on her head it said loser. So everyone was making fun of her at school. She's not doing well. So she comes home and cries to her brother, who was very popular. And he's like, I'll help you be popular. It's easy. It's easy. Cut to, he enrolls in high school.
And he immediately is popular and on the baseball team and wants to have sex with an underage girl.
You bet.
Yep.
A girl who introduces herself by saying, I'm 16.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know
a
how you do in
16-year-old
high
Character
school?
choice.
Like when you think everyone else is your age, you have to confirm. Like, it made no sense. I would never do that in high school.
I'm checking the age of consent in Illinois.
I don't think it matters because it's still
I'm
bad.
curious. Okay, the 17, but let me see in 1999 if it was any different.
12?
No, 17 still. They could have at least made her 17 also, so it wouldn't be
I
totally
guess we don't know where
creepy.
this is going, but
yeah.
it makes us dislike his character because he should be like,
Yeah,
Right. 'cause
No.
he's
but it
all
was
like,
the
ooh.
90s/early 2000s. That was still the mentality. I mean,
Yeah.
it's true.
I guess, and it's
Like
I don't
even
know.
if you watch like sitcoms, like I'm even thinking of like Friends. Another Geller, Josie Geller, Ross Geller. He like dates a college student. It's like, whoa, you're dating a young
Yeah.
chick.
Oh, a
That's
young
so
chick.
hot.
So cool, baby.
She's one of those hot girls.
doesn't age well, and
Cute-haired
I guess it
girls.
says something about our time that we all realize that's wrong and like aren't
Right.
actively doing that,
Yeah.
or if someone does, you're like, hey, stop. So I guess that's a good thing that we can look back and be like, wow, we've come far.
Yeah.
Now we just date people as tired as we are.
Yeah.
As tired
But
and bored.
Rob, her brother, starts spreading rumors around the school about like Josie's like cool past, that she's like really rich and like
Because he says they used
vacations
to date.
in France and that they used to date, and she used to
Yeah.
date this famous drummer, and spreads all these rumors. So now all the popular people are thinking, whoa, maybe Josie's like really cool. So slowly Josie's stopping showing to like mathlete meetings.
Yeah. And
um,
is hanging out with the plastics.
Yeah.
Popular girls.
The popular girls. She's fully transitioned. That guy that she was into, named Guy, is starting to like make eyes at her.
He looks exactly like Mark Foster of Foster the People. Just for anyone listening.
No, I think he looks like you must call her.
Are those two different characters?
I actually think he looked closer to Glenn Howerton, Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
No,
in
Glenn-
Place.
Glenn
It's
Howerton's
like-
hot.
if
But their
those
face is
three,
similar.
if
No,
those
he has
three
the same
people
face of you will call her.
No, Jimmy Simpson.
Jimmy
no, I
Simpson.
don't think he does.
Yes, he does, guys. If you think
He has the same sallow eyes
if
As
you,
Mark Foster of
as
Foster
Mark
the People.
Foster from To the People.
if you think Guy from Never Been Kissed looks more like you will call her,
We can say Jimmy Simpson.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
What's
you're
his
also
name?
like
We don't. Yeah. That's,
what's his name?
Jimmy Simpson.
That's really his name,
Yeah.
Jimmy Simpson.
He's in Westworld.
Are you
and a
checking
lot
the
of other
receipts?
things.
Yeah, that's his name. Anyway, so there's a scene where Molly Shannon is gonna go like surprise Drew Barrymore at school and like
For some reason.
yeah, to be like, I just wanted to say hi. I haven't seen you in a while. And walks into hot teacher Sam's classroom right when I guess a guest speaker is supposed to show up to give a lecture on sex education.
Yeah.
So she gets roped into giving a sex ed talk, which is mostly just funny. She's like, oh, you could have sex with a guy and sometimes it's good. And then she has them all putting condoms on bananas.
No. They unpeel the banana and they put the banana skin on their penises.
They're like, it was an extra 20 cents per condom, but it was in the budget. It's fun.
Putting condoms on bananas and the likes, and it's silly. Ha ha ha. But then in the middle of that, there's this announcement. Like there's a announcement comes over the loudspeaker, and it's like, Attention, students. Oh, my God, this is the worst news ever. This neighboring high school has the same prom theme as us.
You know,
what are we going to do?
very easy and general prom theme.
Everyone acts like in the 50s when they did like those like nuclear tests in schools. Like people are going under their desks and like
Yeah,
crying
they're
and stuff.
freaking out.
Yeah.
So then Guy has the idea. He's like, wait, I know who has the answer. Josie, because she's cool now.
Yeah, that was bizarre. And Josie did have the answer.
Which, really good prom theme idea. Famous couples throughout history.
I thought it was going to be As You Like It, because that felt thematic throughout the whole thing. So shame on me, I guess, for...
I thought it was going to be like who you were. So like who you were
Oh.
versus who you are now, because that's kind of her thing. She's like, I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're 16 years old. Who
No,
they
no,
were
no.
was a
Yeah.
baby.
Well, I didn't write the movie, so that's a good thing, because
Yeah,
I would have
that
written
would've
who
been
you
bad.
were.
Thematic, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense. But yeah, kind of neutral prom theme, a little bit not as fun for people who are going alone, perhaps. But if you go with friends,
Right.
you can make it work.
Speaking of going alone, there's a prom fundraiser fair, carnival sort of
It's
thing.
because like senior night or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
and they're
like a
raising
carnival.
money for the prom, and she gets on a Ferris wheel by herself, and some guy's like, "Hey, we got a single girl on the Ferris wheel who wants to ride with her and get on the Ferris wheel." And sexy McTeacher is like, I believe I'll do that. And so they ride the Ferris wheel together, and it's really weird.
Yeah, because at one point he says, like, first off, he's complaining about his girlfriend to her and being like, oh, you know, not everyone gets better after high school. Some of these jerks will always be jerks, whatever. And then he says, oh, you won't have to worry when you're out of high school. Guys are going to be lining down the block for you.
Weird.
And she's like, you're
Weird.
just saying that because you're my teacher. And he's like-
Weirder.
Weird.
and then he's like, no, I'm your teacher, so I shouldn't be saying that to you.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
adds up.
Yeah,
Keeps
exactly.
doing
Like, yeah. I mean, just take
Yeah.
the words out of our mouths.
Right.
It's like, no. That's-
Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's hanging with popular girls. She keeps pitching bad story ideas to John C. Reilly. Everyone at the newspaper is like watching her videos of her like flirting with the teacher and stuff,
Very
and they're
strange.
loving those scenes. So I wonder what this story is gonna end up being
A
about.
pedophile ring. is
I
what
hope
it is.
David Arquette comes to his own senses
Oh yeah,
and
because he's
realizes
fully
this is inappropriate.
he's
Yes.
yeah, because he's trying out. No, he's on the baseball team already, like getting scouted
Yeah.
and trying to date a 16-year-old girl. Good stuff.
Bad stuff.
Let's go
hot
finish
stuff.
this movie, right?
Yeah, we're gonna finish it.
All right.
I hope she gets kissed.
I hope they all get kissed. I hope there's a long scene, a big montage of each person getting kissed
And you know what-
individually.
You know
A
what the song
kissing
is?
ring.
What?
She's just the ghost at the
Prom.
prom. There's
Ghost at
nothing
the
wrong.
prom. Boom,
She's
boom,
in
boom.
the corner.
I
She's
remember the sweet
dancing
guitar solo on that.
alone.
That's the song.
I am from hell. Okay.
Anyway,
The stove's on.
Oh, my hand.
there's no cookies. Okay, we're back.
So she.
We gotta press this button, even though we're tired of this button.
Right.
We gotta press it.
Press what button?
You know, the hot take button.
Oh, right. I didn't know the stove was still on.
My hands.
Or
Yeah,
two.
it's
Yeah.
really degraded.
I think we've got only a few plays left before it's just inaudible. So she got asked to prom
By
by
Guy.
By
by,
the
by
guy,
sickly
by-
sweaty boy.
It's his make-a-wish.
Yeah.
Too
Aw.
soon. Too soon.
No, it's not real.
Oh,
So it's fine.
He's a fictional character.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's fine.
Yikes.
You can say anything. Yeah, so they go to a party, and they take her into like a private room, and
Who's
he's
they?
You know, they.
all those cloaked men. No, sickly boy takes her. His name is Guy.
Yeah.
Takes her in a room and is like, "I need to talk to you. Sit on the bed. You want to go to prom?" And I keep thinking like they're gonna kiss now, and that's
Yeah.
bad because he's an underage boy.
But they don't.
They
no,
don't.
in fact, it's his choice to not kiss. He's like, all right, bye. See you
She's-
at the prom.
Yeah, she's like, "I'll go to prom," and he's like, "Cool, I'll pick you up." And she's like, "Yeah, I'll be at David Arquette's." She doesn't say my brother because she doesn't want to make that, known.
Mm.
She does say David Arquette's, though, which is
Yeah,
a little
weird.
strange since that's not his character's name, yeah.
Yeah, she wears a big puffy dress.
because this is where Edward was waiting for it the whole time because he thought this prom
That
theme was
gonna be
going to be
Shakespeare.
As You Like It themed. It ended up that Drew Barrymore goes to prom with Guy as Rosalind and Orlando from As You Like It.
And then there was another couple that was the tortoise and the hare, and we all agreed that was a pretty good couple's costume.
And
that was a good one.
the nerds were like hydrogen or something.
No, they went as DNA because DNA is a double helix.
Kind of.
Come on.
They went and they dressed like the Breaking Bad
that's
guys,
so
but they
clever.
were all connected.
No, it was cute.
Cute.
That's really clever because that's a couple.
Yeah.
DNA is 2 strands.
No, it was a good time. It was fun.
That's cute.
So everyone went to prom, and they're gonna play a prank on the nerd girl. They're gonna
Yeah,
pour
but
some beans on.
Yeah,
her.
but before
They're gonna
skipped a
bean
part.
her.
You skipped
But-
a part.
So everybody goes to prom.
And who's prom queen?
Drew Barrymore.
She gets prom queen with Guy, and they share their dance. And she's like, "Oh, this night's so magical. Let me talk about it in Shakespeare terms." And he's just like, "I like my sword."
My sword.
So then hot teacher is like, "May I have this dance?" And she's like, fuck yeah, you're hot teacher."
Oh, and everyone at the news station is watching.
Oh, yeah, on
her
her
little
And I like
Delta
to
Airlines
think
pin.
everyone at the dance was like, "Why is he dancing?"
Yeah,
with
But they weren't.
No, they were all like, "That checks out."
Also, yeah, she's wearing this pin the whole time that has the camera, and it took me until the scene where she finally takes it off to realize that it looks like a stewardess pin.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
It's like an airline pin.
like it looks like a pair of wings you'd give like a nervous kid on a flight to be
Yeah.
like, "You're helping fly the plane."
that turbulence. That's you.
Get better at your job, Chad. Are there kids named Chad?
I think they're a kid. Well, what's Chad short for? Chadley?
First, I've only,
Chadwick.
yeah, I think I've only ever seen Chads in movies as characters,
Right.
and they've only been between the ages of 16 and 17.
But while she's dancing with hot teacher, she's like, "I can't do this to him because." Oh, did we mention this part that John C. Reilly's like, "This hottie, he's your story.
Yeah,
He's so hot and he's into you.
Yeah.
He's so fucking hot."
You gotta get him to frickin' bang you so that we can print it in the frickin'
yeah.
newspaper.
John C. Reilly's like, student-teacher relationships. How close is too close? We should talk about him. Which I know that he's not the protagonist of the movie, but he's also not wrong.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, completely.
Like, at no point should we be like, "Oh no, don't blow their cover." Like, yeah,
Right.
that's something you should maybe talk about in a newspaper.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Right.
He
I mean-
is attracted to a student
Yeah.
that he thinks is younger than him regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like saying whether or not he's acted out of turn is like, I personally feel like he has, and like he's crossed a few boundaries,
Oh,
even if
certainly.
they're not physical boundaries. But either way, him having that clear attraction is still like crossing a boundary.
Right.
and-
Because it almost implies that, not that it's happened before, but that he's not averse to the idea of
Yeah.
it. It's weird.
Yeah, it's so John C. Reilly like is just doing his job
Yeah.
correctly.
But she doesn't want to out him like that. So while they're dancing, she's like, "I'm going to take this camera off and I'm going to tell him I'm going to come clean." But before she can do that, the beans!
there's beans!
Oh, my beans!
Oh,
I-
not the beans!
I actually think it's dog food. But Drew Barrymore sees the popular, not the popular girl, Jesus. Guy sees the nerdy girl that Drew Barrymore was friends with from the mathlete.
The mean one.
She's
They're not terrible to her.
They're very mean to her.
Yes, but she's meaner to them almost.
Yeah, but just 'cause she's smart.
She's sassy, like smart sassy.
I guess,
I like
but maybe
that.
if she tried being nice to them,
She's-
they'd be...
You know, the girl from She's All That. She's like, I'm bullied, so I'll be cold
be
and
Yeah.
ruthless.
Exactly. Or
thing.
Julia Stiles in 10 Things I Hate
Yeah.
About You.
Yeah, at least she softened up.
Yeah, but this
Because
is not her
Heath
story.
Ledger
Yeah, this
broke
girl-
her because
This girl
that's
would
what
have the
Shakespeare is.
opportunity to, but we're not following her.
Anyway, Guy asks her to dance, and Drew Barrymore sees this, and she sees the popular girls planning to dump some dog food on her. They're gonna trap her and dump some dog
And
food.
Drew Barrymore's like, no. And the whole scene gets very slow.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
had just eaten a piece of chocolate cake. And she asked out loud, she said, "Is this chocolate?" and I thought to myself, did she eat another fucking pot, like, dessert?
Yeah, isn't that weird? It was a clearly a chocolate cake that she was handed.
No, it's vanilla colored brown.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. They hit it, smack her in the face. Yeah, so that was bizarre, but I thought, like, why would they ask if it's chocolate and show her eating the cake if
Right,
it's not
if it's
laced
not.
with marijuana?
I was not even sort of thinking about that.
Like they cut to the other side of the table, and it's the reggae guy in like a chef's outfit. And he's like, "Yeah, it's chocolate, man." Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah, fool me once, shame on you. So as soon as they're about to pour the dog food, the whole place slows down like she's on
Yeah.
pot, and she's like,
That's
"No."
definitely not what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking. I have an equal partnership. Fuck, I can
Go
say
on, go
however
on.
I think. And she runs over and she smacks that dog food out of the hands, and it gets all over the three popular
girls. Yeah. What are their names? Kristen, Kirsten, and
Like
Dot.
Gibby? Gibby. I think
Gibby,
it was
yeah.
Gibby. Yeah, it was just so
I
stupid.
think it is, yeah.
Anyway, the dog food pours all over them, and they're like, "Oh, you ruined everything. Why did you do that?" And then she's like, "You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm a 25-year-old reporter, and you guys are shitty little fucks." And then
Which she should have said more than what she did say.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. She should have just summed it up and been like, "Hey, you're bad."
You're right.
But what she did end up saying was like, all of this prom queen popular bullshit's not going to matter when you graduate anyway.
Yeah.
And it was actually, I mean, it was kind of
No,
a nice
it was
speech
good.
actually. But in the background, while she was giving that speech, Sam walks out and he's pissed. So she.
Oh, and she also outs her brother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who was just trying to bang a 16-year-old.
More than bang a 16-year-old, because there was that scene where the 16-year-old girl was like clearly drunk, and you could tell he was like, "I'm not into this anymore."
Yeah.
He just wanted to do baseball again.
Right.
I mean, they had to give us that. Like,
Yeah.
there'd be
Thankfully
no
they did,
redemption if, not even to say like, oh, he didn't go through with it, but if he didn't have a clear moment of like, I'm
not
doing
wanting
this.
to go through.
Like,
that,
I knew
yeah.
it was going to happen, but a little part of me was just nervous that we were in a territory where maybe it didn't.
Right, like they ran out of time.
You
or
never
something,
know.
Yeah.
That we didn't get a proper him realizing it's bad.
Yeah. But Drew Barrymore walks out, and the surveillance guy's like, "Yo, what happened? We lost your feed. Are you ever going to get that story on Sam?" And then Sam's like, "You said my name?"
I have bat hearing.
No, he was like behind a bush. And he's like, "I'm pissed at you. To think I was attracted to you, basically."
Yeah.
And she was like, "You were attracted to me?" He's like, "Cut the act, you fuck."
You old hag of a
Yeah.
lady.
I'm 31, but you're 25. That's basically my grandmother's
That's
age.
disgusting.
Ugh.
Oh,
Call me back when you're 17.
I
can't
thought you were
age
just gonna say,
backwards.
"Call me by your name."
Call me by your name.
My grandma, whenever you asked her age, she would say 29, and it was always funny.
Nice.
Like, it was just always sincerely very
Which
funny.
grandma?
You'd be like, "How old are you?" She'd be like, "Oh, I'm 29." All the time. I'd be like, "That's hysterical." Cute.
So Sam's very upset because first off, he was like, "I know it was wrong, but like, what did he say?"
But my balls got so full of pee.
No, I hate that you just said that.
They were mommy. Ooh,
Wait.
owie, ouch.
What?
Will you buy me a Playboy?
No, I don't like this. This I'm gonna cut. It's not our brand.
Oh, I gotta get the pee out of my balls. It's starting to boil.
The pee doesn't go in your balls, does it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they get.
No, it goes in your bladder.
No, it goes in your
It
balls.
goes right in the balls.
No, it goes in your bladder.
No, we don't know what the balls
That's why
do.
the sperm is for the balls.
I actually got rid of mine. It was too
It's
much.
dragging you down.
Far
let
too
me
much.
tell you.
I went. I don't know what. You know what I mean?
Too
Like,
many things.
I need a simple car to drive. I need a simple car.
It's an Apple versus a PC.
So yeah, Sam's really upset. He was like, to trick me into like, being attracted to you. Basically, this
Yeah.
is your fault. And I don't know. He was mad. So then she goes to work, and they're all mad because she ends up in the newspaper as coming out as an undercover cop.
Undercover
Reporter.
cop.
Undercover boss.
Am I right?
As an undercover reporter, someone else scooped the story and outed her. So basically, she's in trouble. So she's like, "I will find a story and I'll write it and it'll be good." So what story does she write?
I've never been kissed. This story's about me. Hi. You don't know me. But I'm going to write about myself because write what you know, that's what they said. Anyway, I was unpopular in high school. But then I went back to high school, and I was 17 then, but I'm 25 now, so I was pretending to be 17, and I still have not been kissed. But what?
Edward, you don't need to say the whole article.
I would like. No, I'm just
okay,
reading
keep
it right
going,
now.
keep
Yeah.
going.
My brother. He went to school with me, and he's 23.
And what's gonna happen at the baseball game, Drew Barrymore?
Oh gosh. So there was this teacher. He kept hitting on me. Because I
And
was
you are
17.
in
I am in freaking love with that guy.
great.
Even
And
though he thought
what are you
I was
gonna
17.
do? 5 minutes before this baseball game, Drew, you are droning.
No, I know. No, it's just how I write. I'm just gonna stand in the middle of a baseball field, the one that is associated with the high school, I guess. And if that certain
State
guy I am in
championships.
love with meets me there 5 minutes before the game, I'm gonna kiss him so hard that his socks fly off his feet, and he goes, "Ooh, wow, a kiss!"
Thank you, Drew.
Full stop.
And they're like, man, she's a great copy editor, but what the fuck is this writing? Well, we should have never let her do it.
She said "my" 8 times with commas.
So yeah, she says, I've never really been kissed. And that's what bugs me, because the article's called Never Been Kissed, the movie's called Never Been Kissed. And right away in the beginning, and then here they like clarify. It's like, oh, I've been kissed before, but not like a real kiss where it like means something and I feel
Yeah.
something. I'm like, it would have been better for the movie if she just
had
flat
never
out
been-
had
yeah.
never had a kiss. Like,
That's like saying,
That's
"Oh,
not
I've had
that-
a bunch of sex, but not with anyone I care about, so I'm a virgin."
yeah, it would have been way more effective and also not that unbelievable that a
No.
25-year-old
No,
would never
yeah.
kiss someone. I'm
Especially
sure they
one
exist.
this, like, I don't, not, it doesn't matter what age you have anything, it's your experience. But someone who's this kind of, like, socially, like, inept, like, she
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have her bearings into, she's not very worldly. So it's not crazy to think that someone like that hasn't had, like, a relationship
Right.
with someone, because they're still
Or would have like choked every time before it was supposed to
Yeah.
happen,
exactly, yeah,
or
'cause
whatever.
she's like a klutz, and she's
She's a
not,
young
she's
professional.
gullible and blah blah
Mhm.
blah. So
Yeah.
like, it makes sense that she maybe wouldn't have passed that road yet.
You gotta bring your mic closer.
It makes sense that she wouldn't have like passed that little path yet. I'm not like a bad person.
I
is the
know, but
thing.
every podcast
Ghost
you
at
end
the
up-
prom,
you
ghost
end
at the
up
prom.
here, and
Ghost
then
at the prom.
so quiet.
There's nothing wrong.
It's always gotta be here, man,
Okay, no, good to know.
because that's where you put it at the beginning, and that's what I adjust your volume to.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I promise.
You guys gonna kiss on a baseball field?
I've never been kissed.
So she waits for him 5 minutes before the game.
And he's fucking late.
Wait, so many people show up.
Yeah.
So many people show
Like
up because
everyone.
everyone's
Her
reading the
whole
article. It's
newspaper
selling really
staff.
well. Yeah. I mean,
Gary
not just
Marshall is
that. Everyone
into
in the
it.
town
Don't-
is there.
Yeah, don't other stories happen? Isn't there? Didn't John C. Reilly at one point say like, "News is always happening," and they're always taking breaks, watching her little home movie thing?
Yeah, one guy stood up and was like, "What about the murdered girl from 4 days ago? Does anyone care about the murder? It was my daughter. No one's
Oh.
looking for her."
And everyone keeps cheering like towards the baseball.
yeah, they're like,
field.
there was a note and like evidence and stuff. Like, this could be easy and a sketch.
It's true though. This
But everyone's
happened.
like, is he going to show up on the baseball field?
I don't know who this
Um,
guy is.
We're only
So
joking.
anyway, Jesus. She's going to wait on the baseball field. They're going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And if he comes and kisses her, dope. Great ending to this story. But he is at home moving. He's packing away all his stuff. He's
I
probably going to
guess
go back to
going
New York.
or
He's also like wrapping up all what I imagine are youth hockey trophies.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Like,
some small hockey.
cut the
trophies.
cord, baby.
Yeah, right. But so we hadn't mentioned, but while he was dancing with Drew Barrymore, he had said, "Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend."
Right.
So this is okay, basically, that we're dancing, even though you're
Yeah.
still 17.
Yeah, it's like that wasn't the issue.
She's like, "Phew, me a
Um,
student."
But I guess, I don't know, he decided to move or whatever. So he's packing up, and we keep seeing him like missing the article. But then cut back to the baseball field. Oh my gosh, timer went down. He didn't show up. But then, wait, Everyone's cheering. He's late, but he's here.
And you know what they do? They kiss. And you know what happens next?
Yeah.
Everyone starts kissing.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
James Franco's character, we didn't mention that he's in this movie,
Yeah.
tries to kiss
'cause he's
Jessica
not in this
Alba
movie,
without her
basically.
consent, and she's not Jessica Alba, one of the other girls,
Some of the other-
Gibby.
and she's like, "Fuck no," and that's the last kiss we see in the movie, which was,
Mhm.
I think, it was our
A
choice,
strange one.
because then we roll credits and it's a series wrap on
They go back.
Urban Kiss.
They go back to the couple kissing again after that.
Do they?
Yeah.
I thought it was like you see them kiss and her being like, "What? No," and then it pans out to like the
no,
field.
no, they show it again.
Okay,
you
so
need
yeah.
to have two.
Yeah, one more tag.
I
Good.
wish that they had panned out, and I know we said that everyone is kissing, but we only really saw like 2 or 3 couples. I
Yeah.
wish that it panned out and everyone was kissing. It was like an
And that
orgy.
one
and
man
they're
is
all-
just like holding up a picture of his daughter, being like, "Her name was Jennifer Feldstein. She was friends with everyone here. Why do you not care?" Oh, and last thing one of the last things we see, David Arquette is the assistant coach of the baseball
Yes,
team.
yes.
Yeah, cute little wrap up for
It's all right.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought there was actually going to be like dialogue to make that happen, but no, he just puts on a baseball
Yeah,
hat
he's like,
behind.
Hey,
the,
all right.
What do
He's
you call
spanking
that?
Everyone's
What?
butts.
In the mouth.
In the
dugout.
dugout.
in the dugout.
In the mound.
In that mouth.
I guess I don't know things either. So
In the dugout. Yeah.
So that's our little breakdown of Never Been Kissed. We're gonna take a brief break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna take a break to do some kissing of our own. if you will.
Yikes.
And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna rate this movie. The stove's on.
Ouch, my hand.
The cookies are done.
We'll be right back.
So we just watched Never Been Kissed. Zach's getting the calculator, meaning his phone, and we're gonna rate this puppy and see what we get.
What are we rating it out of?
Ooh, good question. Should we rate this out of cool teachers teaching Shakespeare or cans of dog food?
What about Rufus's
Rufus.
kisses we've never had?
What about hot and bothered Molly Shannon?
Oh, she was so sexed up.
Yeah, let's do hot and bothered Molly Shan's.
Great.
All right. So first up is chemistry. It's a 2 for me. I didn't think it was strong at all, actually.
Most of their actual scenes together, there were like 2 or 3 scenes together, but it kind of felt like they were reintroducing themselves to each other in every
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the scenes where there was chemistry, it was a montage, so they weren't saying things anyway. It was them just like boogieing in the classroom, listening to records.
I think that yes, they had a secret, and I think that for me, at least, the secret did feel like it separated them a bit. Where it didn't feel like it was like, oh, if only this one thing, if it weren't for this one thing, they'd be perfect together. I was watching it like, so they're gonna end up together. Okay, like, that's
Right,
fine,
right.
but like I don't see it. It didn't feel.
Yeah.
It wasn't there for me. So it's a
Mm.
2.
Yeah, 2 feels right.
Yeah, a 2. I'll talk about more of this in the romance.
It was
section,
a
but
joyful end though. Like I did like this movie. Like I enjoyed myself, and by the end I was like, come on, hot guy kiss her. But it was really just 'cause he was like
a
a
hot guy.
hot teacher, not 'cause they had like
Yeah.
something
Hot
super special. In fact, I did laugh a little when she was like in the article. She's like, I think I might be in love with you. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you might want to go on a date with him and see where it goes.
Also, maybe he's a pedophile. So
Yeah.
The best friends. I guess in this case we'd have to
Molly
categorize
Shannon.
that as Molly Shannon. And can David Arquette be considered? 'Cause he's in on it with her.
maybe, Yeah.
I'm personally gonna consider David Arquette.
Yeah, sure.
In which case I'm giving this a 2.5.
Oh,
That's
slow.
Pretty low.
Here's the thing. David Arquette I thought was solid. He has her back. He does some funny, quirky things to get her like in there, like saying like, oh, she's amazing, we used to date, blah, blah, blah. And even though he was kind of scummy in his own right, I think he was a good supporting character.
Okay,
There
but what
was
about Molly
not
Shannon?
enough Molly Shannon.
But it was good when she was on.
No, it was not good enough.
Anymore, she would have been too big a role.
I think she needed a bigger
I-
role. She was only in 2 scenes.
No,
yeah, and
she
one
had
of the
smaller
scenes felt really like they needed more things in the script. I don't know why they had that sex ed scene
'Cause it was funny.
story-wise, but like it didn't matter at all. In the
Yeah,
in
but
grand
guys,
scheme
the
of things.
best friend role never matters. They don't do anything.
She's low for me. I didn't.
We
think
have
that,
now watched 28 rom-coms, and you guys still have not grasped the intricacies of the best friend
No,
role.
I understand the best friend role, but what I'm saying is that like I was really excited for her because in the first little like scenes where she was in, I was like, she's gonna be so good. She's already funny, and then she disappeared. She came back. I don't count the end with a little tag. She came back one time during that like sex ed scene, and then she went away in it.
She was in those other little
we
scenes
don't
with John
count-
C. Reilly.
Yeah, but
She
she wasn't
didn't do
like
anything though.
she
Well,
wasn't
what, she gonna
interacting
do,
with
go undercover?
what's her face. She wasn't interacting with
No, but-
Drew Barrymore at all.
Yeah, she can do other things.
Yes.
I think she was not nearly as interesting or funny as she should have been.
Well, I think that's pretty stereotypical of a rom-com, the amount of screen time and all. And I'm gonna give her I'm gonna give her a 4. She was a good best friend role. She was
Okay.
supportive. She was sexual and funny, which is how most best friends in like a classic rom-com like this are. They're like oversexed and like, girl, get laid. And she was funny.
I think mine would have been a 2 for her and a 3 for David, so
I
2.5.
didn't ask for your
I was
specifics.
just letting you know. My math.
I'll do a 3 because I did like her. I wish we had more of her. But good score for David Arquette because he got like a. Weirdly, he was less of a best friend and more of like not even the second protagonist, but like he got a full arc.
Yeah.
So for that, higher score, so 3.
The romance.
Was this romantic?
I don't know. I thought that the article at the end wasn't not romantic. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, that was like a romantic gesture moment,
And
but
The baseball field, I felt like could have been one-upped a little bit had there been a romantic gesture on his end. Like, I don't know what. I'm not the writer.
well, his was showing up.
But I didn't feel like enough for me personally. I feel like if
Also, he was late.
well, that's what I feel
guy.
like
He
say
didn't read the paper till late.
this is what I would have liked. He was late. She thinks he's not going to show up, and he not only does he show up, he shows up in some fashion or with something or does something to show like, whoa, he had something really up his sleeve too. That would have sold that for me, but it just felt a little lackluster.
Yeah, it wasn't super romantic. It was more about her growth and her experience. I don't know. I think if there were maybe like one more scene between the two of them where there was like a little risky moment, maybe I would give it a higher score. But I think I'm just gonna go like a 2. It wasn't like as bad as a 1, but it
I'm
wasn't.
also going with 2. It just didn't do it for me that much.
Give me a 0.5. This is every scene that they were in except the final scene. If you want to think about it, is tinged with a sort of like he's still thinking about a student sort of angle, and it's I didn't want them to get together. Not that they didn't have a nice back and forth. It was just I don't know. It didn't feel romantic as much as like a little skeevy. And I don't know, that just made me feel weird the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
So 0.5 for me.
And last is the comedy, which I thought was probably the strongest of the 4 personally.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty funny.
Yeah, there were some good lines. It moved well. That was one thing I will give it. Like this was paced well. I think this movie. I wasn't really like bored by any means, and it was an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I liked it.
I'm gonna go. I mean, it wasn't like hysterical enough to be like a 4, but it was pretty darn funny. So 3.5. And like I enjoyed it. Like the tone was funny, even if I wasn't laughing every few seconds. But I was laughing out loud quite a bit. So
it
3.5.
felt like a comedy. It didn't feel like sometimes in a rom-com you're like, Jesus Christ.
Right,
Like even the ones that weren't particularly funny weren't like vomit worthy. So a 3.5 for me as well.
Yeah, give me a 3.5.
So we've added it up. And the score is 10.17. Hot and bothered Molly Shannon's out of 20. Or 5.08 hot and bothered Molly Shannon's out of 10. Or 50.83% of a hot and bothered Molly Shannon. So not a bad score, not a great score.
Yeah,
it was a movie.
I think I liked it more. I like this movie more than the rating shows.
Yeah, which happens a lot on this podcast.
Yeah. you can enjoy something that's not technically good with
But you know
our
what?
terrible rating
Right,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to, actually.
Yeah.
Just like after the first act, especially, I was kind of into it,
Mm.
and it fizzled out a bit, but not a bad movie and a decent enough watch.
Now, I'm so looking forward to when we can get to The Wedding Singer with Drew
Mhm.
Barrymore. Ooh, baby.
Is 50 First Dates a rom-com or of a com?
Yes, it's a
Oh,
ram-com for
yeah.
sure.
It's
a
pretty
ver-
good.
it's
I've
a
never
very
seen
rom.
it.
It's
I've never
very
seen,
rom.
50 First Dates?
You haven't?
It's good.
It is very good.
But in like a
No, it's a
No,
solid
it's
movie.
like a good
it's
movie.
very
Yeah.
funny.
Okay.
And The Wedding Singer is so good. Although I gotta tell you, I like the musical more than the movie.
A lot of people do.
Controversial.
I know.
And then they did a third film together. What was it?
Was it
that
that
one's surely
recent
terrible.
one?
It was
It was
like
a
where they
few
go to
years ago.
Africa.
Yeah.
And that one was supposed to be insanely
It's
bad.
because he wanted to go to Africa, and so that's why he wrote a movie that took place in Africa.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be real bad.
Yeah.
It's called like Wrecked or something.
No, it's called Blended.
Blended.
You know,
And
another bad word.
Bella Thorne is in it. Bitch,
Oh,
I'm Bella
Bella
Thorne.
Thorne.
Remember that song?
Yeah, how could I forget it?
There's another song that we seem to have forgotten. I think we should leave the listeners with it.
I think so.
Let's start from the guitar solo.
Yes, of course. But for everyone here at the Meet Cute, thank you again for listening. If you got any questions, if you have anything you want to tell us about the film or about your own kisses, reach out to us at meetcutecast on Instagram and Twitter, or at themeetcutecast@gmail.com. We're always listening. And we'll be back next
We're
month.
always listening.
We are funded by the government. We're in your smartphones. We'll be back next Monday with another film. For all of us here at the Meet Cute, I'm Zach.
I'm Haley.
And I'm Edward.
Let's hear that song. Ghost at the prom. There's
She was a
nothing
sinner.
wrong. She's in the corner dancing alone.
She's done terrible things.
Bleeding from the eyes, bleeding from the mouth.
She cannot escape this earthly realm. No matter
Get
how hard she
down,
tries.
get down, get down.
Ghost at the prom.
Ghost at the prom.
And also in this movie, she doesn't have a makeover. She just gets better at dressing herself and putting on makeup. What the fuck? All right, guys. Bye.